Good morning, fishing friends. This is Matthew with Out Fishing 13 and bringing you another fishing video. Today, I want to share a tip with you that works nearly every year that I've tried it with the white bass spawn, which starts here in Utah on Utah Lake, generally the end of April and goes through about the first week or two of June. Now, several years ago, I tried this and I experimented with it, and it worked like a charm. What happens if you go look at a Solunar forecast, and there's one of my favorite ones, I'll share it in the description below, is that the fish start biting right around the time that the Solunar forecast says is the best bite. Now, there's 1-star days up to 4-star days. 4-star days are generally better for one reason or another, and it has to do with the position of the moon either above your head or below your feet. Now, what I discovered was one day I went fishing and the fish started biting just about the time I started fishing, and I was just testing out a new lure. Well, later, the next day, I took my son back, and we were a little bit early, like 30 minutes early, and we kept fishing, and all of a sudden the fish started biting. I thought, wow, this is really crazy. What's going on? Well, I went and looked at the Solunar forecast. I'd heard about it a little bit. The best fishing times have often are published in, like, on tide tables up in Alaska where I grew up. And so I went and I followed it, and lo and behold, what I discovered was that during this time of year, the white bass will start biting at a certain time. And generally, the Solunar forecast that we get here in Utah is usually about 45 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes, or even an hour later than what is being forecast, and goes longer. And every day it's like an hour later, kind of the way that the moon phases work and the way that, like, tide tables work. Anyhow, I noticed that it started one week about 5 o'clock, and by the end of the week, it was about 9 o'clock when it was getting dark, and it worked. I mean, I went, and one day we went, and we were there an hour early, and nothing happened, and all of a sudden, the Solunar table turned on, and it was like turning on a switch. It was crazy. Anyways, let's go try it out. Right now, the Solunar forecast is for about 7 o'clock to about 9 o'clock. It's getting close to 8 o'clock, so we got an hour of good fishing left. So let's go try it out and see what's happening. It is only a 1-star day, so that's kind of a bummer, but let's give it a shot and see if we can find some white bass congregating and biting. Make sure you give me a big thumbs up and subscribe and share this. Let's go fishing. This year the water is really low on Utah Lake. Normally it's about 3 feet higher than this, but it's been really low. So I don't know how much of an impact this is going to have fishing in these locations. I see some guys out there fishing wearing hip waders. Kind of small this year. I heard there was a big die-off. I was reading on several people said in March they were out catfishing and there was just thousands of white bass that died off.
No limit on them.
I know. That's a better one. I missed it by a couple hours, or an hour. Okay, so I'm calling it a day. I caught 2 fish. Was it worth it? Absolutely. One of the things that I realized is when I got up this morning, I didn't hustle down here and get down here early enough. And I looked at the Solunar cast, and the Solunar forecast was from 6 until 8. And I got down here right around 8 o'clock. And I caught 2 right off the bat. And then I fished for another 30, 45 minutes and didn't catch anything. I talked to my neighbor down here with some boys, maybe some Boy Scouts or something like that. And he said that they got down here around 5:30, started fishing around 6, and they were all doing really well. And then he said the bite tapered off around 8 o'clock, and then it was really slow onesies, ones and twos here and there, but nothing where it's like every cast you're catching something, which is what they were experiencing this morning. So the Solunar forecast was on target. I just got here a little bit late. So I'm going to come back and show you again in part 2 of this video. But make sure you give me a big thumbs up if you enjoy the video. This is a really great tip. All you need to do is go to solunarforecast.com and put in your zip code, and it's a free website. You can also get apps. I think that there's some free apps out there, or they cost $1 or $2 that you can put on your phone. But it's a great tip. It works for all kinds of fishing. After I do part 2, I'll tell a little bit more of the history of it and provide you some links below on the history of how the Solunar forecast was developed. But it's very effective. It works for all kinds of fishing. And I've noticed that particularly for white bass fishing during the spawn in May, that it is spot on. It's like turning on a switch and then turning it off. And there's really no need to, unless you just want to be out fishing, to not follow the Solunar forecast in April, May, and June here in Utah for the white bass. Put your comments below. See what you think about the Solunar forecast. I want to hear from everybody what you think of it. Does it work for you? Does it not work for you? Does it make any difference, or had you never heard of it? Anyways, I'll see you on part 2.